Lu Sheng, having launched nearly 1,000 attacks, was already familiar with the defensive capabilities of the Grandmaster-level zombie. After a few more attempts, he unexpectedly discovered a slight weakening in the invisible force field surrounding the Grandmaster zombie's body. Lu Sheng could feel his stamina rapidly depleting, and a sense of retreat began to rise within him. However, there was also a hint of unwillingness. The level 6 zombies no longer held much value for him in terms of honing his combat skills. Having reached level 3 in his psychic prowess, hunting zombies below level 6 was as effortless as mowing the grass. A single sweep could clear out a dozen. Wait! A sudden realization dawned on Lu Sheng. Psychic strength. Yes, a psychic attack. He had yet to attempt it, to directly assault using his psychic abilities. Lu Sheng had never truly studied the combat techniques of a psychic practitioner, always treating his psychic strength as a secondary support tool. In comparison to his martial prowess, his power in the realm of psychic practitioner was much stronger. As this realization dawned on him, Lu Sheng felt a sudden clarity. His eyes gleamed, and the more he thought about it, the more feasible this approach seemed. With determination, Lu Sheng condensed his spiritual strength into a cohesive force and struck fiercely at the Grandmaster-level zombie before him. Just like a physical attack, the moment his psychic strength made contact with the Grandmaster zombie, it encountered an invisible barrier. However, simultaneously, a portion of that invisible barrier was depleted. Startled yet overjoyed, Lu Sheng quickly grasped the situation. The Grandmaster's force field was an external manifestation of their willpower, which, essentially, was their psychic strength at the Grandmaster level. Without further delay, Lu Sheng swiftly manipulated his psychic strength, repeatedly assaulting the force field of the Grandmaster-level zombie. The Grandmaster's force field rapidly diminished as it consumed energy, thinning at a perceptible speed to Lu Sheng's constant attacks. With each usage of his psychic strength, Lu Sheng grew more proficient in this straightforward and aggressive technique. Moreover, he could sense that his psychic attacks grew stronger with each attempt. At this moment, the Grandmaster-level zombie appeared significantly weakened compared to its initial state, according to Lu Sheng's perception. The Divine Pluto technique surged within Lu Sheng, amplifying his blood energy level. 2 hearts thumped in his body as his blood energy level roared. Alongside with tenfold stellar technique, switching to the flame-breathing technique, perfect fist technique. Radiant light blossomed in Lu Sheng's eyes as he raised his right fist high. With great force, he struck the head of the Grandmaster-level zombie with all his might, finally penetrating its invisible barrier. The Grandmaster's not-so-sturdy body swayed and staggered backward under the impact of Lu Sheng's punch. A hint of guilt rose in Lu Sheng's heart. Throughout the entire encounter, the Grandmaster-level zombie hadn't attacked him even once. It was always Lu Sheng who initiated the attacks. The spirit lives on. I shall inherit your will, Lu Sheng silently recited in his mind. The Grandmaster-level zombie, seemingly relieved, gave him a smile. Then its body rapidly decayed, and a thick black line of smoke emerged from its body. Like a black python, it viciously crashed into Lu Sheng's body. Memories flew into Lu Sheng's mind. Sheng Ning, congratulations on reaching level 7. From this day forward, you may be hailed as a Grandmaster. The situation is worsening. Despite the efforts of the Stellar Realm elders running around tirelessly, more and more bases are falling. Base number 100, located at the center of the martial art associations, is the safest place in the world. I have arranged for an aircraft. You will depart this afternoon. Dad, aren't you coming with us? A young girl said. He gently smiled and said, as a Grandmaster, I must stay at the forefront and fight until the last drop of blood for the human race. Despite being a level 7 Grandmaster, witnessing a level 9 monster filled him with fear and dread. Suddenly, a man defeated the level 9 beast with a single punch. That man was Wang He. Sheng Ning comprehended a completely new martial technique from Wang He's attack. Just when he thought he could aspire to reach the realm of a level 8 Grandmaster in his lifetime, he felt a sharp pain in his chest. His heart had been ripped out. He felt cold. He felt pain. Was this the sensation of death approaching? It is said that the Martial Art Association has initiated the Fire Seed Plan, gathering the collective strength of the entire human race to create an unprecedented level 12 powerhouse. Hopefully they will succeed. Unfortunately, he won't be able to witness it anymore. The amount of memories absorbed by Lu Sheng surpassed any previous instance. Countless fragmented scenes flashed rapidly through his mind. The life of this Grandmaster, what a legendary and splendid existence he was. A wealth of martial experiences and combat skills flooded Lu Sheng's mind, which he quickly assimilated. Lu Sheng was fortunate because the Grandmaster named Sheng Ning had specialized in fist techniques during his lifetime. His skills and combat experiences gradually merged into Lu Sheng's body, becoming a part of his being. The lifelong learning of the Grandmaster Sheng Ning. This rapid assimilation propelled his advancement. The mastery of combat techniques, honed through countless life and death battles against the monsters, was now flawlessly inherited by Lu Sheng. Wang He. Lu Sheng captured this name within Sheng Ning's memories. It seemed to hold significant importance to Sheng Ning. In the final memories of Sheng Ning's Grandmaster life, aside from his wife and children, this name was mentioned the most. And coincidentally, Lu Sheng knew this name. The creator of the stellar body refining technique is named Wang He. Sheng Ning seems to have been inspired by witnessing Wang He's martial prowess and created an extremely powerful martial art. But why can't he find it? Lu Sheng was puzzled, continuously searching through Sheng Ning's memories. Just then, he noticed a golden dot appearing within the memory fragments. In an instant, a memory scene that Lu Sheng had never seen before unfolded in his mind. It was a vast, desolate wilderness. Thick black mist permeated the surroundings. Countless indiscernible beasts and monsters surged out from the earth and sky, tearing through the black mist. A profound sense of despair enveloped Lu Sheng's heart. At that moment, a figure suddenly appeared in his field of vision. This figure moved at an incredible speed, radiating brilliant golden light, akin to the rising sun. 10 suns simultaneously appeared in the dim sky. Incredibly dazzling suns, golden suns. Boundless golden radiance illuminated everything, causing tears to flow from Lu Sheng's eyes. He struggled to widen his eyes, but could only see a sea of golden light. It was unknown how much time had passed. The golden light gradually faded, and Lu Sheng's vision returned. He saw that the countless beasts that had previously covered the sky and the pervasive black mist had all vanished. The entire world appeared empty and desolate. As the 10 suns appeared simultaneously in the sky, rivers dried up, the earth cracked, and infinite light and heat burned everything. Grandmaster Sheng Ning exhausted his lifetime of talent and painstakingly studied, pouring his heart and soul into it, even with the intention of reaching the pinnacle of the 8th level Grandmaster. The supreme technique he sought to achieve was called the 10 suns in the sky. Back home, Lu Sheng felt there had been a qualitative change in his psychic power. If Ling's psychic power was like air and Snowy's was like water, then Lu Sheng's felt like a solid steel ball. Both in terms of mass and hardness, it was much stronger. While experimenting with his latest psychic power, he accidentally lifted a nearby tall building. Cold sweat streamed down his face as people inside the building panicked and fled. How did it float up? Lu Sheng awkwardly set the building back down. He felt as if he had broken through a certain level and was no longer an ordinary martial artist. He was confident that with the oppressive force of his psychic power alone, he could kill a 3rd or even 4th level martial artist just by stare at them. Additionally, a faint aura of a force field appeared around him. Of course, it was weak and faint. If the force field of the previous Grandmaster zombie was an ostrich egg, then his was an ordinary chicken egg. Although it was currently just a seed, it would eventually grow into a towering tree. Lu Sheng sat in his seat at the restaurant, eagerly awaiting his meeting with the person in charge of the pharmacy. Since leaving the training camp, he had been deprived of his daily supply of exotic beast meat, and he was in desperate need of supplements to assist in his cultivation. Soon enough, a breathless woman hurriedly ran over. She had been anxious all along, as she had been waiting for this day for a long time. She had thought that all hope was lost. However, there was a glimmer of hope as the situation took a turn. Surprisingly, the other party took the initiative to propose a collaboration with her. Upon seeing only a young student in the room, she breathed a sigh of relief. If it was just Lu Sheng, a high school student, then it would be easier to handle. She was confident that they could successfully reach a collaboration in her favor. Upon seeing the arrival of Healing Su, Lu Sheng's expression remained unchanged. He gestured for her to take a seat and picked up the menu to order. As she contemplated how to begin the conversation, she heard the young man across from her ask the server who had been following them, "What is the best quality steak you have?" After the waitress finished her introduction, Lu Sheng ordered 40 servings, all medium rare. Ling Su choked for a moment and deliberately glanced at him. Was he a pig? He wanted to eat 40 servings of steak in one go. Each serving cost 1,280, so 40 servings would amount to 51,200. Healing Su quickly calculated the amount in her mind and felt a twinge of pain. However, she reassured herself that considering he was eating so much, he probably wouldn't feel comfortable letting her take the bill. Lu Sheng held the menu and asked if Ling Su wanted to join him, but she shook her head. They hadn't even started discussing the matter, so she had no appetite. Seeing that Lu Sheng made no further moves, Ling Su collected her thoughts and prepared to speak. But before she could, Lu Sheng began talking about her information, including his ancestral background. In the decades when martial arts were just emerging, her ancestor became a 5th-level pharmacist with his impressive martial talent and exceptional pharmaceutical skills, establishing the Benevolent Pharmacy. The Benevolent Pharmacy enjoyed some success in its early years with branches spread across more than 20 cities in the Dongning province. Unfortunately, due to poor management, it rapidly declined during the generation of her father. Ling Su's face darkened, and she sarcastically interjected, "Mr. Lu, you start off by reciting a lengthy piece of information that anyone can easily find online. What exactly are you trying to convey?" She thought Lu Sheng wanted to show off his astonishing memory. Soon enough, Lu Sheng's 40 servings of steak arrived, filling the entire table. He ate while divulging more details about Ling Su. He mentioned that her mother hadn't returned to the Dongning province for 20 years due to family reasons, and had never visited her daughter. Regarding the swift rise of the Benevolent Pharmacy, besides the outdated concepts and poor management, the most significant reason was the covert suppression from his mother's Chen family over the years. Ling Su was deeply shocked, so much so that she accidentally knocked over the glass of lemon water on the table in front of her. She stared intensely into Lu Sheng's eyes, her expression turning into anger. She demanded evidence for his claims, but Lu Sheng looked at her and told her to ask her father when she returned home. Then she would know. Lu Sheng remained silent and focused on eating the steak in front of him. For Lu Sheng, the taste of the steak didn't matter. What he cared about was the quality of the meat. Good meat meant high nutritional value, providing him with more energy for his martial arts cultivation. Meanwhile, Ling Su was caught in deep shock and confusion. There were many things about her mother that she didn't even know. However, it was true that her mother had left when she was 2 years old. When she was younger, Ling Su had often complained in her heart about her mother being too heartless. Even after the divorce, why hadn't her mother visited her even once while she lived with her father? It was also true that their family pharmacy had started declining after her mother's departure. These doubts buried deep in her memory had almost been forgotten. Now, with Lu Sheng's words, they were connecting in a way that evoked a sense of terrifying contemplation. Lu Sheng finished the last piece of steak and looked at the girl across from him. By observing Ling Su's expression, he knew that she had already believed most of it. All this information was obtained by Lu Sheng from the resource library in his dream realm. It had to be said that the dream realm's resource library was indeed powerful. In the thick volumes of history, a person or a family could be summarized in a single sentence, or even a punctuation mark. Ling Su took a deep breath, struggling to calm her turbulent inner thoughts. She now wanted to discuss the collaboration. Lu Sheng cut to the chase and proposed his terms. He would be responsible for providing the prescriptions and technical guidance, while the pharmacy would handle production and sales. In the end, Lu Sheng would take 90% of the profits, leaving Ling Su nearly jumping out of her chair. She couldn't help but scoff. "Why not ask for it all, Mr. Lu?" Lu Sheng smiled and replied, "I thought about it, but I was afraid you wouldn't agree." Ling Su's boing heaved with anger. After taking a few deep breaths, she offered a maximum of 70%. Lu Sheng smiled faintly and said that an additional 20% was necessary because he would help her deal with some troubles. Perplexed, Ling Su asked what troubles he was referring to. Lu Sheng stood up, looked at her, and asked if she had no thoughts about seeking revenge after being manipulated by the Chen family for so many years. Lu Sheng clenched his fists and stared at Ling Su, questioning whether she wanted to retaliate and reclaim everything that belonged to her. Ling Su was stunned, unsure of what Lu Sheng intended to do. However, Lu Sheng's voice and actions seemed to possess a special kind of charm, causing her gaze to involuntarily follow. The next moment, Ling Su saw it. The spilled lemon water on the table began to levitate. Droplet by droplet, Ling Su's eyes widened in astonishment, instinctively wanting to cry out in surprise. She was not an ignorant woman. She quickly realized that Lu Sheng was a psychic master, and even though she wasn't a martial arts practitioner, she understood the significance of such a qualification. Before leaving, Lu Sheng mentioned that by demanding a larger share of the profits, she would gain the support of him and the power behind him. Wasn't there a more profitable business than this in the world? Ling Su's facial expression rapidly changed. If everything Lu Sheng said was true, then sooner or later she would have to face the members of the Chen family, even if she had no grievances or desire for revenge regarding the past 20 years. However, the other party may not be willing to let her go so easily. After a moment of deliberation, Ling Su finally made up her mind. She agreed to give 90% to Lu Sheng. Lu Sheng smiled, and then took out a USB from his pocket, handing it to Ling Su. He then left the room, leaving Ling Su staring blankly at his departing figure, dazed for quite some time. The realization that despite all her careful preparations, she ended up giving away 90% of the benefits, left her with a sense of disbelief. It was completely different from what she had anticipated. "Excuse me, miss?" A person's call interrupted Ling Su's train of thought. Ling Su looked up and saw a waitress from the restaurant standing in front of her. "Can I close the bill?" the waitress asked. Ling Su was taken aback, but quickly understood that Lu Sheng wanted her to pay the bill. Although she felt a bit annoyed, Ling Su still nodded and asked how much it was. The waitress glanced at the bill and replied, "The total is 115,200, but willing round it down to 115,000. The waitress patiently explained, "The steaks were 1,280 each, but the gentleman ordered a total of 90 portions. 90 portions. Where did the other 50 come from? He only ate 40, and he said he was full. He also packed 50 portions to take home for his family to try," the waitress replied. Ling Su's mouth dropped open and she stood there motionless, unable to move. Then, her breathing became rapid, her boing heaving up and down rapidly, and it felt as if there were animated flames burning behind her as she pulled out her card.